And so in California, I was gotten in the military, American military airplane. And there I had like so many, like 8 staff deporting me, one person. You would think maybe I'm Osama bin Laden or something. While in the aeroplane where they were deporting me, they were feeling so excited to come to Kenya. So here I was sad, crying, I'm being deported, but they were just telling stories like, I'm not a human being, you know. They would be like, wow, I'm going to Kenya, I'm so excited. We are going to go to the carnival, we are going to eat some meat, we are going to dance, like they are going to have fun. Okay, so it's towards the end of 2013,
Yeah.
I'm getting out of prison.
Yeah.
And I've been in since 2009. And I thought I was getting out, but no, I was going again to immigration jail. And they deported me in a bloody hospital gown, just covering the front, and all the back was naked. The moment that I landed in Kenya, the American people were embarrassed that they had deported me naked. So now they were trying to force me to wear jail clothes at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
Jail clothes?
Yes, jail clothes. And I started screaming in the airplane. I was like, no, you got me all the way from America naked up to here, and now you want to dress me at the airport? I was
And in jail clothes?
In jail clothes.
So that everybody knows that's a criminal that has been deported. Yeah.
So I remember screaming so loud, and the airport police officers came running to the aeroplane. And they were like, stop it! Don't touch her anymore. And that's when I felt like, oh my God, finally somebody standing up for me. They said, don't touch her. You are in Kenyan soil now. Don't touch her again. When I first got there, I was covered with white bed sheet all the way to my face. So when my brother came, he thought I was dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. And he started crying like a grown man, crying loud, screaming. And I opened my face. I said, Ben, I'm not dead. Hello, my name is Mercyline Atis. I am a singer, songwriter, and author from Kenya. I was deported from the US, and here's my story. So I was born and raised in Kenya, Africa, and in the year 2005, I left my country on a student visa, F1 visa, to go and study in the United States of America. I was to go study guidance and counseling at Wichita Hills College in Arkansas.
And this is the story of Mercyline Atis. Hi, Mercy.
How are you, African
I'm good.
Tigress?
I'm good. This is how they greet Corona. With no mask on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mercy, it's finally a pleasure to meet you. I mean, you're a celebrity now.
Oh, thank you so much for hosting me. I really appreciate it.
Okay, so you've talked about getting to the US.
Yes.
So what were you expecting the first time when you got the news that you are finally going to go to the US? You've received your visa, you've got to the US. How was it? How was the feeling? And what was in your mind?
Oh my God, I was so excited. Like I was high, you know, like high that you get from being really high. I was really happy. I could see that all the doors had opened, and I could finally achieve anything that I want in life. This is the land of dream and opportunity. And I had very high hopes of bringing some of my family to the United States, of pursuing my education, my bachelor's degree, my master's, even my PhD. So I was full of hopes.
And now you got to the United States. Did it meet your expectation? Did it meet your dreams? Like, this is exactly what you are looking for?
Okay, so the first time that I landed in the United States, I was met by culture shock. Culture shock from the foods, the different foods, the accent. I couldn't understand most of the words they were speaking. And I felt kind of lost, if you know what I mean. The time difference got me just confused. Like, is daytime? Is it nighttime? And it took a while to try and adjust, but it was a big culture shock. Yeah, when I got there, the happiness went down, and I was like, I want to go home.
Really? After
Yeah.
how long did you feel that you wanted to go back home? I mean, everybody is dreaming of going to the US.
Right.
It's the land of milk and honey.
Yes,
Is
yes,
it true?
yes, yes.
Is the land of milk and honey?
It's supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I started feeling like I want to go back home when I felt like the people that I was working with, they couldn't really understand me, who I was, and the program, we were selling books door to door, and we had to be outside the whole day knocking on people's doors, dogs chasing you. I was scared of dogs at the time.
Uh-huh.
And just living in a church, sleeping on the sleeping bags, so much that wasn't really what I expected. So at one time I even cried and I said, just take me back home. Take me back home to Kenya. I don't want to be here anymore. Oh yeah.
So tell us tell us your life. We would love to hear more about your life, how you progressed, you're now selling books, culture shock and all that. I would love to hear, tell us the whole story until maybe to the point you can tell us where you got until you were deported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was selling books door to door for a while, and shockingly, I never went to school. Like, I had gotten this full scholarship to go to school, but in the US, there was no school. We were just selling books, and it was summertime. After summertime, I thought we were going to classes, and then no, we had to go back and then go sell books in another church. And so I really wanted to go to school. So one time when I was selling books in a Baptist church, I met this missionary lady who happens to be a missionary in Kenya. She was captured by my accent. And she was like, oh my goodness, where are you from? I was like, I'm from Kenya. No way, no way. She ran with me to her husband. They took me to eat pizza. By the way, I had never had pizza in my life before. I didn't eat it, but now I love pizza. And I told her what was going on. I told her I really wanted to go to school. And so she stole me from the church at night, at midnight, and took me to her house. And later she took me to a Baptist church where they raised some money for me to register in a real college now, Northwest Arkansas Community College. So that's where I started to study nursing.
Nursing.
Yes. Nursing.
Okay, so was the scholarship a scam, keeping in mind that you had got a visa, you had a full scholarship? So was it a scam? Did somebody lie to you? Like, how come you didn't end up going to the school that you wanted to go to?
I can definitely say without a doubt that it was a scam. Yeah, it was. Okay, maybe I didn't meet the expectations of selling books, but I never went to any classes.
So you were supposed to sell books in order to study?
Yes, I was supposed to sell books in order to study.
Oh, so it's not like you just going studying, so you have to sell books?
In order to study. But even after I sold books the whole summer, I still didn't study. Yeah. I sold books the whole summertime, and then we went back to the school, and then we went back to sell books again in a different place. Yeah. So I never went to class until this lady took me to a community college, Northwest Arkansas Community College, and that is how I got away from the church. Yeah. So I studied first CNA, Certified Nursing Assistant, and I started working in a nursing home, taking care of all the patients and going to school at the same time. But you see, if you're in the US and you're not a citizen, you don't have a green card, the cost of tuition is way too high. You have to pay almost like 3 times what American citizen pays, and you don't qualify for scholarships, financial aid. You don't qualify for anything. So after a while, I couldn't keep up paying the high international tuition. I had to drop out of school at that time and continue working as a CNA. Yeah, so I worked as a certified nursing assistant for a while in Arkansas.
So this is actually getting interesting. So we'll need to sit down so that you can tell us the full story. Interesting. So yeah, here we are.
Thank you.
Well, so you are now working in a nursing home. How many years is this after you had landed there?
This is almost like a year after.
Yeah.
And I can say that I continued working for a while until I bought my car, my first car, a
Wow.
Dodge Neon.
Uh-huh.
And although there was racism in the nursing home, I just dismissed it. You know, I didn't take it seriously. Like some patients, older patients would be like, "Don't touch me, nigga."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I didn't know like what does nigga mean.
Uh-huh.
So I would just be like, okay, you don't want me to touch you, fine. But most of the patients, they really liked me, and I enjoyed working there until I bought my first car, like I said, and I was getting more stable. That's when I heard that there are many Kenyans living in Texas.
Yeah.
So I relocated from Arkansas to Dallas, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in Dallas, I found a big Kenyan family. I went to All Nations SDA Church in Arlington, Texas. And I used to live in Dallas on Skillman Street, exactly where JF Kennedy was shot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I stayed in Dallas for a while, continued working as a CNA. And after a while, something was pushing me because I had this dream. I had this dream to be a singer. I always like to write songs.
Mm-hmm.
So I relocated again after a while from Dallas, Texas to New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In New Jersey, I lived with a nice lady named Monica. She's a Kalenjin lady. And she used to model. So she introduced me to modeling. I did try some modeling in New York City. And but the East Coast was just too cold for me. The weather there, like when it's snowing, is just way too cold. So I relocated to somewhere warmer, California. And California is where I was going to get arrested.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so how long had you lived in the US before deciding to pursue your dreams in California?
Okay, before I decided to go to Hollywood.
You are going to Hollywood?
Yeah, Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd lived in the US, you can say maybe about 2 years now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when I was going to Hollywood, my dream was like, oh my God, I'm going to pursue my dreams, you know, acting, singing, all these things. And I actually did do background work in some TV shows like Judy, Joe Brown. And even there, I experienced a lot of racism.
How?
Okay, so like if you're going to be in the background for TV shows, you line up outside.
Yeah.
And when you line up outside, they choose who gets in first because they do paid audience. You know, like here in Kenya, we have Churchill Show.
Mm-hmm.
And you get paid to be in Churchill Show.
Okay.
Yeah. But they choose the people who go in first. And when you're lining up there, you see that they choose all the white people to go in first. And then they choose all the Mexicans and Hispanics, and then they choose all the light-skinned black people. And if you're dark, you just stay. If the show is full, then you can't go in. It's just like live open.
Oh wow, that's really sad. That's colorism and racism at the same time.
Yeah, it's new to me because, you know, growing up in Kenya, we love everybody, you know, we love foreigners, whether they are white, whether they are black, we just love people. And I never thought of myself as black, and now you're discriminating against me. And I'm like, what? I'm black? I didn't know.
I'm just a Kenyan.
I'm just a Kenyan. I'm just a human being, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just dismissed it. It wasn't a big deal still until the time I got arrested. That's when I really knew.
Okay, so before we get to the point where you are getting arrested,
Yeah.
Did you communicate to your family back home, telling them that actually the school or the plans to go to school didn't work out, so you're now working on something different?
Yes, I did tell them.
Yeah.
I did tell them that I wasn't going to school, but I was working as a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, which was fine because I had my social security number, and I was, you know, I could work.
Mm-hmm.
So I communicated with my family, and in California, I stayed for a while until I ended up homeless.
So you are now in California.
Yes.
What path did you take, or how did life turn out to be in California?
Okay. So when I first got to California, I believed I lived somewhere called Inglewood.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I lived in Inglewood with some guy, and I was looking for a job. I think I finally found a job. Until you remember the violent elections, the violent post-elections
In
in
Kenya,
Kenya. Yes.
2008.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2008. That's when my life really flipped, because I remember that I was working with an elderly person,
Yeah.
and I was in her house. I was like taking care of her,
Yeah.
and suddenly on CNN TV,
Uh-huh.
I saw that, the elections
I've
in Kenya.
disrupted in
Yeah,
Kenya. Uh-huh.
yeah. And my brother, they cut his head with a machete. Yeah,
Wow, so sorry about that.
thank you.
Wow. Sorry.
But the good news is that he survived. Yeah, they cut his head with a machete, and that was really shocking. This organized me, and I left that job, and that's how I ended up homeless.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I went to live in a homeless shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Homeless shelter in Hollywood, California.
Mm-hmm.
And I would work somewhere in a club, and life was okay until that day when my father died.
Oh, so sorry about that. When was that?
My father died in 2009.
2009.
Yeah, yeah. A few months after President Obama became president in the United States, I remember in 2008, I really volunteered for his campaign. I was at many, many events. I met many, many big people. Even Michelle Obama. Didn't meet her in person, but I attended an event where she was speaking. And so when my dad passed away, I couldn't come to the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, I was working at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
What was your work at Universal Studios?
At Universal Studios, I was a tour guide.
Ah,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
I was a tour guide. So people would get in the tram, and I would be like, hello, and welcome to Universal Studios Hollywood. My name is Mercy, and all that.
Uh-huh.
So I remember that Universal Studios gave me like $1,000 for my father's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Universal, if you're watching. So I sent the money home, and I asked them to video for me my dad's funeral.
Yeah.
So it was videoed, and later it was sent to me
Yeah.
in the shelter.
Mm-hmm.
When the shelter receives your mail, they're supposed to put it in your mailbox, because everybody has a mailbox. So I remember this day coming back and finding that I have mail in the mailbox. It's from Kenya, but it's opened. So I was like, what? This must be the
CD that you're
of
expecting.
of my father's burial. So as I was walking to my room, I passed through the shelter's office. I noticed that they were watching this on their computer.
Mm-hmm.
And first I was very shocked, and then I was angry, and I felt like all kinds of emotions. I tried to ask them to give it back to me, but they banged the door to my face. They shut the door to my face. And I must have just lost my mind, because I was like, how dare you? So I remember banging on the door so loud and crying. And I was like, open the door, open the door. Why are you opening my mail? Why are you watching my father's funeral? Why are you closing the door on me? And they were laughing. And it's the laughter that got me really mad. So I was like, you're laughing again? I used to sell sometimes, I used to grill hot dogs. So I remember taking a charcoal lighter fluid and pouring it on the carpet by the door and lighting it up on fire. As soon as I lit it up, it got their attention.
Yeah.
And they came out and they turned the fire off with their hooded sweatshirts.
Uh-huh.
At this time, my mind is like not working. I can say that I had a breakdown. My mind is not working. They called the police. I was just standing there like confused. They called the police. The police came, and I was charged with unlawfully causing a fire. And so I went to jail. I remember crying so much, crying for my mom, my mom is dead, by the way. And so we had to go to court.
So at this point, how long had you lived in California?
At this point, I'd lived in California for, say, 3.5 years.
Oh, so you actually lived in California longer. Like California
Yeah.
is the state that you lived longest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I had lived in California for that long, and I remember my bail was set at 2.5 million Kenya shillings.
Your bail.
My bail.
Wow.
To get out of jail, which is ironical because the lady who just recently banned Wendy's is a very popular restaurant in the US,
Yeah.
banned down. Actually, her bail was maybe 100,000 Kenya shillings.
Only?
Yeah, she's white, you know.
Oh.
So my bail was set at 2.5 million shillings, and of course I could not raise that much money. So I went to court, and the first time I went to court, they added more charges.
Why?
Maybe, I don't know, because they wanted to keep me longer in jail. So I remember them reading, now we are adding criminal threats charges, and we are adding another count of criminal threats, and they are upgrading the charge to arson.
Is that something that is normal, or like they just allowed to add anything?
I don't know, but there is no evidence. I still have my court papers, African Tigress. I have my court papers, and I hope that I will come back to your show one day and show them to you.
Mm-hmm.
But the criminal threats charges, they were false. And throughout the 5 years, I kept telling the judge, I wrote many letters to the judge saying, I never said I will kill you to anybody. It was just my word against their crocodile tears.
So who said that you will kill them?
The staff who opened my mail.
Oh, they said that you told them you'll kill them.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't. It was just like I was asking my lawyer, if I said I was going to kill you, why didn't you put it in the police report?
Exactly.
It was not in the police report. It was not in the fire department report. It was not in the video that there was a video
CCTV.
in the CCTV. Yeah. And there was no evidence wherever, anywhere, that I said I will kill anybody. So it was just something that they said.
Mm-hmm.
And it stuck as a felony offense, something I'm actually innocent of. And I will go to my grave saying I never told them that I will kill you.
Uh-huh.
So they added these charges, and the first lawyer that I had told me to say that I'm on drugs. Yeah, I've never done drugs. The first lawyer was a Hispanic, if I can remember, and he said, you should tell the court you're on drugs so they can take you to, he just said, tell the court you're on drugs. And I said, I've never
done drugs.
I've never done drugs. I'm not going to say that I was on drugs. And so I fired him. You have a right to fire your lawyer.
Uh-huh.
And then I was given this African-American lawyer.
Uh-huh.
He kept telling me that he's from Ghana, and he could fake an accent and say, I'm from Ghana and I just want to help you. But he was not from Ghana, he was African-American. And he didn't want to help me. He wanted me convicted, he wanted me imprisoned, and he didn't care about me or my case. So I kept going to court, back and forth, for 18 months. You know, if you are in the US, the only people you have is the Kenyan embassy.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, I kept calling the embassy, and they would give me a runaround. If I call the embassy in the morning, they'll be like, sorry, call in the afternoon, call tomorrow, call us the next day, because many people would be wondering, where was the Kenyan embassy?
Yeah.
I kept calling, and they would be like, call us another day, call us tomorrow, call us. So eventually, at this time, Honorable Raila Odinga was the Prime Minister of Kenya.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Yeah.
So I wrote a letter to Honorable Raila Odinga, almost a 6 pages letter, with my hands. And I said, hi, Honorable Raila, my name is Mercy. I told him my whole life story, how I ended up in jail. Uh-huh. And I just told him that I really needed help, even if it meant that I'm coming back home. I just need help. So fortunately, he did receive the letter. I just wrote to Parliament Road, you know. He got the letter, he read it in person, and he called his sister. Akinyi Wenwa Odinga, who was then the ambassador of the ambassador in Los Angeles, the Kenyan ambassador in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I remember one day when I was in jail and a sergeant called me and he was like, hi, are you okay? Did you get something to eat? Do you have shoes? I was like, what? Why do you care? You know, these people, they're always so rude.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Anyway, the ambassador, the officer, the sergeant took me to a room and gave me a phone. I spoke with Miss Akinyi Wenwa Odinga and she was really nice. She was like, I haven't heard about your case. We always visit Kenyans who are in jail. Tell me how I can help you. And I said, you can come visit me. You can get me a better lawyer. You can send some Kenyans to come to court in support, in solidarity with me. And you can put money on my books so I can buy some hygienes and some snacks.
Yeah.
So she did come to visit me. She came to visit me and she said she had spoken to the lawyer that I had, the public defender. We call them public pretenders
Uh-huh.
because they pretend to be your lawyer, but they're really against you.
Yeah.
And Miss Akinyi said, I don't think that lawyer wants to help you. I'm going to help you find a better lawyer.
Yeah.
So on the next court date, I think she did find a lawyer.
Yeah.
And before you go inside court, you have to meet your lawyer
Yeah.
in the US. And I remember the Black American lawyer was talking to me outside and I asked him, why do you lie to me that you're from Ghana? It's actually Miss Akinyi who found out that he's African
He's
American.
African American.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I'm declaring you mentally incompetent to stand trial. I was like,
Wow.
what? So I go inside court. There are many Kenyans sitting in court in solidarity. There is a lawyer who is supposed to take over my case. And the judge, he didn't read my case, didn't read my case number, just said, the defendant has been declared mentally incompetent to stand trial. This case is postponed for the next 3 months. I was like, no. I started crying. I was like, no way, no way. I was crying so hard that even the police officer were feeling sorry for me. And the police officer told me, what they are doing to you is illegal. A doctor is the only person who can say you are incompetent, not a judge, not a lawyer. I'm so sorry, young lady. That's a police officer feeling sorry for me. Anyway, the time I was crying is the time that the African American lawyer took a big advantage and told the Kenyan people that I was crazy. He said, you see how she's crying? You see how she's acting? She's really crazy. She's really mental. So from that day, no Kenyan ever came to court for me. So I was alone. I was alone, fighting my case alone. Nobody to call, nobody to visit, nobody to help. Like, I was alone, yeah. Eventually, it was time for trial. You know, I would go to court and they'll just be like, come back next week, come back next month, come back next whatever. Come back after 2 months. Eventually, it was time for trial and I was transferred to another courtroom with Judge Kathleen Kennedy. And I was told that she's a really bad judge. And if I speak up, she will give me the maximum sentence, which is 8 years in prison.
Uh-huh.
So they did my trial without me saying anything. The staff at the shelter, Kendra Shepherd and Elizabeth Alguins, they got on the stand and they cried fake tears, saying I said I'm going to kill them, saying I'm a terrorist, saying all kinds of lies, and I couldn't do anything, I couldn't say anything. I just had to remain quiet. So they did the trial on their own without, I was just seated there. Nobody on my side, no witness on my side, just one-sided trial. And obviously I got convicted and I got sentenced to 5 years in California State Prison. Yeah.
Well, and where was your lawyer this time? You're determined that this lawyer was actually not for you. So did he come for the final hearing and judgment day?
Yeah, of course he had to come. He was working for the government, obviously.
Yeah.
So he came and he didn't oppose anything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he just 5 years in prison. He said There's nothing he can do. I asked him to put in an appeal.
He didn't.
He didn't. So that's how I went inside.
Wow. So, did you serve the full 5 years?
Yeah, mine was considered a violent offense. So I had to serve 5 years with 85%.
With?
85% of 5 years, which is almost really 5 years. Yeah. So I had to serve 85% of 5 years, and in prison, at first there were a lot of bullies. Yeah, when I first went there. But then they came to learn that I'm an African lioness, just like you're an African tigress.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when you go to prison in the US, they give you like some lockers to put your belongings. But there they have lifers, and the lifers, they have too much stuff that cannot fit in one locker. So they always bully the newcomers. They take your locker and then you have nowhere to put your belongings. So I remember I didn't have my locker for almost 2 months, and they kept telling me, don't tell the police, because if you tell the police, that's called snitching. Don't snitch. So I never told the police. After 2 months, I was like, no way, I'm not going to stay here with 5 years without my locker. So I went and told the police direct, I don't have my locker. Police was like, what? All this time? Went direct to the cell where I was living, opened the locker. They have some keys to open the lockers. Threw everything out and said, there is your locker. As soon as he left, the lady started choking me, the one who was using my locker. She was choking me and said, bitch, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to kill you. This was a very big Hispanic lady. I'm going to kill you. She caught me so unaware, and then she pushed me so hard, and I ran back to the police again to snitch the second time. I said, the lady that was using my locker, she's now choking me. She's trying to kill me. The police was like, well, I will talk to her. Don't tell anybody that she choked you. You see how corrupt the police is? But at this time, they are black gangbangers who had already seen what was going on. So they called this lady, and they said, motherfucker, if you ever put your fucking hands on Mercy again, we're going to fucking kill you. So she got the warning from the gangsters. As soon as I went back to the cell again, she was choking me again. Attacking me again. Like, motherfucker, if I choke you, you're going to die. You will not find time to tell your people that I was choking you. And this time I was just so tired. So I don't know where I got the strength from, but I beat up the lady so badly. I kicked her like a balloon. At this time, there was a police officer named Tyra who ran to my cell and pulled me and the lady out. And he clicked on the gangbangers' door. And the gangbangers came out and they beat her almost to death. They beat the bully. And he took the gangbangers back to the cell, and then he called the medical staff. There has been a fight between Miss Onyango and Miss Perez, blah, 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 blah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. Everybody thought that I'm the one who had this lady.
Yeah.
But it's the gangbangers who beat her. Because there's no snitching, she can't tell anybody that. The gangbangers
are the ones who beat.
So they said, what? You're a lioness? You beat this lady? You tell the lady like this? Oh my God, so everybody feared me. They said, this is an African warrior. She's a lioness. If you play with her, she will tear you up.
Wow.
So the whole time I was in prison, nobody messed with me again. Yeah. But I just remember a good memory is that I refused to do some chores they were assigning me. Like they would be like, can you wipe tables in the dining room? And I was like, excuse me? We have tables in Africa. I know how to wipe tables. Teach me something I don't know how to do. They'd be like, did you just talk to us like that? Go wipe tables. I would be like, no, I'm not going to wipe tables. I know how to wipe tables. So eventually they took me to learn computers in the prison. So I studied computers the whole time. I was inside, yeah. Because I was like, I'm already been sentenced. What do I have to lose?
Oh, so you better learn a skill or something.
Yeah, so I learned computers. I did a lot of computer, classes. I got like 8 certificates, 8 computer certificates.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So how did you get out of prison, and which year is this now that you're getting out of prison?
Okay, so it's towards the end of 2013.
Yeah,
I'm getting out of prison,
yeah.
and I've been in since 2009. And I thought I was getting out, but no, I was going again to immigration jail.
Wow.
Yeah, like jail wasn't enough, prison is not enough, so again to immigration jail, and here I have to fight deportation now, and they are deporting me for the same crime that I've already served sentence for. So in immigration jail, they don't give you a lawyer.
So it's your word.
Yeah, so I have to be my own lawyer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I tried to fight my case. I read some books. I filed for asylum, but I lost my case.
So how does it happen? Prison gates are opened, you walk out on your own, or what happened? Did somebody come tell you, okay, so this is your release date, we're picking you, we're taking you here? How did that happen?
I had my release date, but I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. But I remember that I was not let free. The officers came, they handcuffed me again, direct to.
Did you know what was happening at that time? Did they tell you now we are going to take you to immigration
Yes, they
prison?
did tell me they were taking me to migration,
Uh-huh.
and I couldn't do anything about it. So we went to San Diego. I
Uh-huh.
was in Chowchilla prison, and then I was at CW, and then from CW is where I got released to go to San Diego immigration jail.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So in San Diego, I was there like again 8 months. Yeah. After 8 months, I had lost my case. I tried to appeal. The appeal wasn't accepted. I didn't. It didn't go anywhere. It wasn't even hard.
Uh-huh.
So I went on a hunger strike,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't eat for about 2 months.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. They would give me just IV fluids.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I just lived on IV fluids, and I was doing that so that somebody could hear me. I felt like I had already been punished enough.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have been punished enough. Like, how much more do you have to punish me? I've already served a prison sentence. I've already been here for 8 months. Now you want to deport me? I didn't want to be deported because I had nothing. It's so embarrassing to come out of America with nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you're coming from abroad, people are always looking like she has to come with money, she's
Yeah.
rich and all that, yeah?
Yeah. So I didn't want to be deported. I really wanted a second chance so that I can put my life together, that I can continue working, that I can record some of the songs I was writing while in prison. And nobody was listening to me, so that's why I went on a hunger strike for 2 months. And they didn't care. They just took me out of the hospital where I was in the hunger strike, and they deported me in a bloody hospital gown, just covering the front, and all the back was naked.
Okay. They didn't, when you went to prison, you had your clothes. You had clothes, right? So they didn't give you your clothes back.
No, they didn't give me anything back. Before I was
Like they
arrested.
got you from hospital bed to plane.
Yes, exactly.
What happened to your car and all the belongings you had?
I have no idea. Up to this time, I had money, some savings in Bank of America from working as a nurse. I've never been able to access it. I had a Dodge Neon I told you I bought in Arkansas. I don't know where it went to. I had my belongings, my clothes, my documents, my
You
birth
had left them at the
certificate.
shelter, I think.
Yes, at the shelter, yes.
Okay.
My high school certificates from Kenya, everything that I owned from birth. I have no idea where it went to.
And have you tried accessing, maybe writing to the bank, trying to access your money?
I've tried writing to the bank, but I think maybe I will need a power of attorney, like if somebody knows an attorney in the US, so that I can give them full legal powers to pursue the case. But I don't think I can get it on my own without legal help. So I'm going to need legal help.
Okay, so tell us, how did you get, now they've put you in a plane and straight to Kenya?
Yeah, I remember that day. I was in the hospital with all my IVs. They came, they pulled them out. They pulled out all the IVs. They said, "Are you going, or should we force you?" And I was like, "Force me." I was tired.
Uh-huh.
I was so weak,
Uh-huh.
so dehydrated. Like I was, I haven't eaten 2 months. and they pulled the IVs out and they put me on a stretcher. And then they pulled me down to an ambulance down. And I was in the ambulance and I was asking the ambulance staff, like, where are we going to? Nobody was answering me. And before we got to a small airport and into a small aeroplane, and we went to Texas from California. And so in California, I was gotten in the military, American military airplane. And there I had like so many, like 8 staff deporting me, one person. You would think maybe I'm Osama bin Laden or something. So yeah, I remember they had a doctor, they had everything, therapists, they had many officers, whoever was there. And I remember that while in the aeroplane where they were deporting me, they were feeling so excited to come to Kenya. So here I was sad, crying, I'm being deported, but they were just telling stories like, I'm not a human being, you know. They would be like, wow, I'm going to Kenya, I'm so excited. We are going to go to the carnival, we are going to eat some meat, we are going to dance, like they are going to have fun. So I was like, wow, my tears is your fun, you know. I was quiet throughout the aeroplane and until we got to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
So it was the military plane that actually brought you?
Yes.
You, one person?
One person.
Like, how big is it? Is it a small plane?
It's a big plane. Yeah. I'm the only
Did they give you any food on the way or anything?
No. I was on a hunger strike. Yeah. But they didn't offer me even water, nothing.
Okay, before we get to there, while you were still in prison, were you in touch? Did your family members know that you were in prison?
Yes, my family members knew that I was in prison because the embassy told them. Yes. Before the embassy stopped visiting and all that, they had told my family that I was in prison.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And by the way, it's the Kenyan embassy that approved my deportation. The American people cannot deport you unless the embassy, yes. Because I didn't have my passport, they don't know my family. Where are they taking me to?
Okay, so they have to approve.
Yes. And said, okay, if you deport her, she has somebody in Kenya. Because what she could have done and said, she has served 5 years in prison, get her out.
Yeah.
She could have said, we don't know her family, she's not in touch, she's been in prison for 5 years. But no, they betrayed me again.
That's sad.
Yeah, the embassy betrayed me again and they gave them my brother's information. So when I got to Kenya, they called my brother and told my brother that I was in Kenya. But what I was going to tell you is that the moment that I landed in Kenya, the American people were embarrassed that they had deported me naked. So now they were trying to force me to wear jail clothes at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
Jail clothes?
Yes, jail clothes. And I started screaming in the aeroplane. I was like, no, you got me all the way from America naked up to here, and now you want to dress me at the airport? I was
in jail clothes.
In jail clothes.
So that everybody knows that's a criminal,
yeah,
that's
a criminal.
Been deported. Yeah.
So I remember screaming so loud, and the airport police officers came running to the aeroplane, and they were like, stop it! Don't touch her anymore. And that's when I felt like, oh my God, finally somebody standing up for me. They said, don't touch her. You are in Kenyan soil now. Don't touch her again. And they froze. They went like to the back. They didn't touch me again. And so the airport police, they called the Kenya Red Cross to film everything. And the Kenya Red Cross came with an ambulance. And they took many photos of the state in which I was in. I don't know who exactly was there, but they took many photos, they took a video. And I remember the Kenyan Red Cross saying, how do you treat Kenyans like this? Is this how you treat our people? The way we treat you when you come here? Where is her family? Why do you bring her? And the Red Cross, they were so much like on the American people that they were like, we didn't know. It's the embassy that allowed us. If the situation was so bad, maybe we could have left her. And that's when the American actually admitted that it was the Kenyan embassy that gave them power to deport me to Kenya.
Sad.
So then the Red Cross put me in their ambulance and said that you have to pay for her bill at Mata Hospital in South B. And so I was taken to Mata Hospital. And I remember when I first got there, I was covered with white bed sheet all the way to my face. So when my brother came, He thought I was dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. And he started crying like a grown man,
Uh-huh.
crying loud, screaming. And I opened my face. I said, Ben, I'm not dead. Yeah, I'm not dead. I'm alive. Yeah. So he calmed down and I said, I want fish.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Uh-huh.
That's the first thing that I called for when I landed in Kenya. I said, I want to eat fish. But Ben's wife had already cooked fish for me.
Uh-huh.
So they brought it and I ate for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
in almost 2 months. And the doctors at Mater Hospital, they were so nice. They were saying I could work in the radio, they were encouraging me, telling me I'm strong, it's hard that I survived. And the American embassy, the American people, I believe they paid my bill at Mater Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's how I ended up in Kenya.
Wow. So looking back at your whole experience, do you regret that you went to America? Do you think your life would be different if you never went to America?
Wow. Do I regret going to America? I believe that, by the time you are created, God has a plan and a purpose for everybody. So I believe that this is just a path that God drew for me, that I had to pass through there to be where I'm at, maybe so He could use me for bigger things. And I'm not ashamed of my past. I don't regret my past. I, however, do feel that great injustice was done to me. And if I found a lawyer who wants to reopen the case, I wouldn't mind, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because there are so many illegal things that were not supposed to be done to me. Because if nobody cares, then other people will be treated like this, And it's an important lesson for people who have their children, going to school in the US, and other people who have relatives and families going to school in the US, that if you see that they are quiet, they're not communicating, don't demand money from them. In America, life is not always easy. You have to work, sometimes 16 hours a day. And when the money comes, you have to pay so many bills. So that's how I feel. Like it was a part of my journey. It was my life. It's sad. I honestly never knew that I would come back to Kenya alive. And I'm just so grateful,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful to God. I'm so grateful for the love,
And now, what advice would you give to someone or those people who look at America and they think it's a land of milk and honey? So, all the time, I mean, if America was visa free, people, especially Africans, would all be going there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to someone who's like really aspiring to go there?
Everybody's path is different and everybody's life is different. I can't say that because of my experience, don't go. I can just say that if you go, just be very careful, In America, you can say something like, I'm stressed, and then they can put you down and force you with psychiatric medication and say you are crazy. You just... Something very small can be blown up into something really big. So if you're going to America, just remember to follow their laws and to be humble and don't get in any trouble, and don't say you want to kill yourself. Don't say you're thinking of suicide. Like, you just have to be extremely careful, and then you will be fine.
Living on eggshells.
Kind of. For me, I would not want my 2 sons to go to America. Yeah.
So,
Because they are
two black men.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's not my dream for them. Yeah.
So, what has been life post? In summary, you can just tell us post deportation. Now you're back in Kenya. So, what's life like right now?
So after deportation, I went to live with my family, of course, for a while. And after living with my family, I decided to hustle. I went to sell water, the 20 bob water. So I remember going to Mombasa. I was living in a house that cost 800 shillings with a roommate. But I couldn't even raise the 400 shillings, my half rent. I remember sometimes I didn't even have 10 shillings. But I decided to do whatever. That's why I say don't be picky with the job that you're doing. I would sell water for 20 shillings, hawking at Mamangina Street. And from there, God opened the door and I started to run like a small restaurant. I changed to a salon. So right now I've been doing music. I've always wanted to do music. And I'm just so happy that God is finally opening a way for me to tell my story. You know, I didn't really want for my story to be told postpartum. I didn't want to.
After you're dead,
After
you
I'm
want
dead.
to say it yourself.
Yes, I'm so grateful.
You mentioned about a book.
Yes.
You've written a book?
Yes, I've actually written 3 books.
Is there somewhere we can buy them?
They have not been published.
Oh, okay.
I have them on my email, but they have been edited. Yeah, one book is about surviving in the US on a student visa. And the other book says, You Will Love Me After I Die. Yeah, it's my life in Kenya before US. And then the third book talks about everything that happened in the US. You know, it's a long story that I can't possibly tell you everything during the interview. So I'm right now looking for a publisher to help me publish the books because many people are asking to read those books. Yes.
So I also know that you have a YouTube channel. There's a number of people after hearing this that would really love to support you. So tell us on how can people reach you and tell us also about your channel.
Okay. So I have a YouTube channel and my channel is youtube.com/Mercyline Onyango. Or you can just type I Don't Wanna Know. That's the song that has really hit. Yeah. If you just type I Don't Wanna Know, you're going to find my channel. Please go ahead and subscribe. On Instagram, my name is @MercyMusic, music with a K. And on Facebook is facebook.com/MercyRadio. On Twitter is @MercyMusicKE. So you can reach me through any of my social media. You can write me a Facebook Messenger. You can WhatsApp me. I'm selling some T-shirts.
Oh, you're selling T-shirts?
Yeah. With my songs like I Don't Wanna Know, I Don't Give a Damn. So I'm selling some T-shirts, hoodies, hats. So.
All right, I'll definitely leave a link to your social media platforms. And yeah, be sure to check out her YouTube channel, subscribe. I know she has amazing stuff coming up. So yeah, I mean, your story is that story of resilience, strength, having gone through all that, and you're still this happy, bubbly person, just not letting your past define you. And yeah, I'm really so happy for you because your life has taken a new turn, which is like really good.
Thank you so much, African Tigress. I'm really happy to be in your show. You're an amazing woman. You're beautiful in the eyes. And may God bless you.
Thank you so much, and all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.